Are you still reeling from what the champ did last time out? Yeah, I mean, it's left me with a real headache. Not as bad as Raditz's though one, am I right? Oh! Hey guys, MasakoX here. One of the favourite things I love doing with these what-if scenarios is experimenting with concepts that we have long since established from the late 80s, you know, the tried and tested method, you know, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, unfortunately in some ways, but, you know, we got a lot of things to cover. Had Toriyama gotten up the wrong side of the bed though, or maybe in some cases the right side of the bed, judging from how we've come up with some scenarios in the past, might we have seen something different thanks to his improvisational writing style, which differs from so many other writers and authors of both manga and international literature as a whole? What I try to reflect in my own personal scenarios is that sense of mystery and almost dabbling in automatic writing as I turn my attention to the what-ifs where I can really go for it and be no holds barred. April Fool what-ifs. The last 2 years, I've come up with a story which has a lot more freedom, creatively speaking, to allow me to think of novel ideas which Toriyama probably wouldn't have come up with realistically, or he couldn't have done so due to the fact that the character didn't exist either at the time of the saga's creation or his, you know, kind of bumbling along, or it was in a movie or something, so you couldn't tie the two together. I mean, we've had Broly being a good guy. That's old Broly, so you know, in one of these what-ifs. And this year we had one of those scenarios which I fell in absolute love with as soon as I started writing the script, and that is what you're watching today. What if our saviour Hercule was known to us prior to the start of Dragon Ball Z, and had the chance to train with Master Roshi, and become a fully fledged member of the Z Fighters, going into the wonders of the Saiyan saga? That's a triple hitter right there. But why aren't we calling him by his real name, Mr. Saturn? Well, hashtag YT being YT, so we have to resort to the original English dub name of Hercule. Let's just get that out of the way in case you're wondering. This tale had us using the supplemental information given by Toriyama years after Z ended, where we found out that Hercule's master at the Satan Dojo was felled by mercenary Tao. Hercule would have vowed revenge in the story that we came up with and tried to find Goku to help him train to get stronger and beat Tao. But instead, he got Goku's master Roshi, otherwise known as Jackie Chun, the guy who won the 21st tournament. I mean, as far as Hercule's concerned, you know, it's still the guy who won the tournament. Good enough. Over the course of the initial outing, Krillin aided our champ's journey and really bonded with him. We got to see him realize his goal too, and become the master of the Satan Castle Dojo, the true champ. Such a fulfilling plot, wasn't it? In the last part, Hercule took this even higher and finally got to train with Goku, giving the guy a fairly decent challenge, but I mean, still coming up short despite his huge size in comparison to Son Goku. And after that, Videl and Gohan, you know, they started to actually become childhood friends as the Son family and Hercule, you know, hung out a lot. They became firm allies of the champ, with Chi-Chi keen for Videl to marry her son one day. If you think that's a bit balmy, she did allude to in movie 12 Fusion Reborn, so I'm just bringing that little plot point a little bit backwards in time. Then of course Raditz did his thing, and instead of just Goku and Piccolo fighting Raditz, we also had Hercule and Krillin tag along, thanks to their extra training together, their greater powers, and newfound confidence with the latter. In the end, Hercule's flashy skills, even though Roshi didn't like them, were the thing to bring down Raditz and save the world, with everybody pitching in. I mean, well, Piccolo never got to use his special beam cannon, that was unfortunate. Oh well. Let's continue with part 3 of this fantastic voyage. With Raditz defeated, our heroes are basking in their victory against the Saiyan threat from the stars, but Hercule, the one who did it, is not feeling so good right now. He feels terrified that he now has this kind of power which could remove people's parts. This feels like this is beyond his pay grade, and he's starting to feel terrible and kind of scared. And on top of all that, his friend and mentor, Goku, isn't a human. He's an alien.
I can't believe it. We just offed your brother, Goku. Aren't you in the least bit upset about that?
No, he wasn't my brother. No brother of mine would be so nasty. You guys are like my brothers. That's all I need.
He pats Krillin on the shoulder and, you know, the little guy feels quite loved right now, and really valued, and pretty involved. But Hercule is not feeling any better after this sentiment. It's just words. The weight of the world is now on him squarely, despite, he being the guy saving it, delivering the final blow. What can they do to make Hercule feel better? Piccolo offers his own 2 zenny on the matter, despite being quite the antagonist right now.
Well, it's simple. That imbecile's mind is weak.
Hercule whips around. He may be reeling right now, but his hearing ain't broke.
Bro, why did you call me Green Man?
I said your mind is weak. Sure, you trained your little heart out with the bald one. Look who's talking, Piccolo. But you don't seem to have learned much. You're not prepared for dealing with the responsibility of protecting this planet. As much as it pains me to say this, you should probably pay a visit to Kami. Goku's eyes light up. Oh yeah! They never introduced Hercule to Kami before. Now if you think that's unusual, they never really had to between the end of Dragon Ball and the start of Z. They tended to focus on Earth. You know, Goku just spent his time in the forest with his family. They didn't really engage with Kami. Maybe he can help strengthen Hercule's mind. He's just about one of the calmest people on the planet. You know, being Earth's guardian and all, you kind of have to be. Goku is curious as to why Piccolo is helping out all of a sudden. Piccolo states that Raditz's arrival has kind of put his father's demands, wants, needs, desires into perspective. This Saiyan menace may be one of many who may try their hand at taking over Earth. Things have gotten way bigger than what King Piccolo wanted right now. Otherwise there'd be no Earth to conquer. Goku and Krillin nod. There probably are more Saiyans out there, and who knows when they'll show up. Speaking of, Vegeta and Nappa are on that bug world, just casually eating people randomly, and heard the whole thing go down with the Earthlings fighting Raditz. In fact, they even heard the moment when Raditz's head pieced out, with Nappa being kinda shocked.
Hey Vegeta! I guess Raditz lost his head there. Yeah, right?
He's trying to mask his slight fear and concern with humor, but Vegeta can see right through this. Nevertheless, this did pique his interest, you know, Raditz losing his head.
Interesting. Raditz got bodied by just 4 of these Earthlings. Usually that would take hundreds of soldiers to even pose a remote challenge, even though they wouldn't win. Say Nappa, fancy a trip to this Earth? I could do with something more exciting around here than as of late.
Ah, yeah. It has been pretty boring around here, Vegeta. Let's go have some fun.
And so, because they're bored, the Saiyans still make their way to Earth, but not for the Dragon Balls this time. A few weeks have passed, and Kami has since agreed to teach Hercule some methods of searching for inner fortitude. Hercule was a particularly different case to the likes of Goku, Krillin, pretty much everyone in the Z Fighters, in that he was pretty eccentric and showy, which may surprise villains and opponents, but Hercule doesn't have the ability to comprehend the powers that he is now dealing with. Even Yamcha can handle himself better than Hercule. Kami agrees that the method that they used to deal with Raditz may have been excessive, but Hercule wants to get rid of this feeling of remorse and the sickness in his stomach. It's been really putting him off his training lately, and that means he wouldn't be any use to anyone. So far it has gone well though, with Kami beginning to understand that deep down, Hercule is a good person with a big heart, but he can be quite vain and self-obsessed at times. Something that, honestly, he shares with a lot of humans down on the planet, but it can be fixed with plenty of time. Oh. Kami excuses himself for a moment, right in the middle of their whole training. He can sense something very malevolent approaching. He can't be quite sure about where it is exactly, but it's something. He turns back to Hercule.
May I ask you a question? But shouldn't it be me asking you questions? That's saying you fought. Was he alone?
Hercule racks his brains to remember the first encounter.
Well, when we met him at Kami House, he said something about Kakarot or whatever, and that he came to bring Goku with him to join his team of Saiyans?
Kami somberly nods.
Ugh, I thought so. It seems that this training of yours came at the right time. It appears that Saiyan's colleagues are on their way here.
Hercule leaps up in terror. So much for this calming training, then.
More of these goons? You mean I gotta fight more of them?
Indeed, you must.
And I have a bad feeling about this.
Hercule gulps and comes up with a plan.
It's okay. Perhaps we can all train with you and get stronger that way. You know, I already feel miles better thanks to you. I'm like a different another man Hercule.
There isn't much more I can teach you. Goku especially. I may have to send you to someplace higher. Somewhere not around here.
Hercule looks up. You mean we're gonna go to space?
Not exactly, says Kami. Kami then communicates with Goku, Krillin, and Piccolo that Saiyan indeed had allies. He wasn't bluffing, and they are heading this way. He can't be sure when they will arrive yet, but it's best that they report to the lookout right now to figure out what in heck they're gonna do. They do so with Gohan and Videl in the care of Chi-Chi. So far, Gohan's potential hasn't been tested, and so therefore, he hasn't caught the attention of the others yet. For now, he just gets to be a simple kid hanging out with Videl, going on playdates. With all 4 of the fighters that took down Raditz present, Piccolo refuses to look Kami directly in the eye, and instead decides to sit off to the side where he can still hear, he doesn't have to be right next to them. He informs everybody though, that they need to train harder than ever. Kami has to take them off-world, the other world, where the past go to rest. Hercule's mind is blown.
You mean that might be where Miguel is?
Kami knows of Miguel. Having watched Earth for, hundreds of years, you tend to pick up who, comes and goes on the planet. Miguel, Hercule's deceased wife, was in the other world as a soul, and Hercule is starting to get ideas.
I know what you're going to ask of me, but it is impossible. Your wife is one of billions of souls that have passed through the check-in gate. Also, the keeper of the gate, King Yema, isn't one to go searching any archives. I'm sorry, friend.
Hercule looks dejected.
You 4 must travel the road known as Snake Way, and meet the Lord of all worlds, King Kai. I will do my best to grant you passage with Yama, but it won't be easy.
And so the 4 are teleported to the check-in station and speak with Yama. Yama gazes at the 4 that have arrived and immediately stares at Piccolo with fury.
What is that guy doing here? The son of Demon King Piccolo? You better not be asking what I think you are, Kami. You're already pushing it.
Kami does his best to negotiate, but in the end, Yama will not accept Piccolo for training or being around here at all. Piccolo curses Yama.
I hope my father is causing your people all kinds of trouble in Hiffle.
Yama grits his teeth and gazes at Kami.
If that thing isn't out of my sight by the count of 3, none of your lackeys gets to go. 1!
Hercule pushes Kami towards Piccolo, frantically trying to get him to go away and do the thing. And they do the thing. Hercule then walks up to Yama and asks,
Say, Mr. Yama, sir, you know about a human who passed by here by the name of Miguel? Do you know where she went?
Yama pauses for a second, mulling over the situation in his head, before then motioning his fingers to the sign
2.
Hercule then begins to panic, and Krillin and Goku all run to the door where Snake Way is, behind Yama and out of his sight. Back on Earth, Piccolo and Kami are processing what just happened.
Well, so much for that. I'm out of here. Where do you think you're going, Piccolo? To train on my own for the Saiyans whenever they show up. It worked before, it'll work again.
Kami stops him by placing his staff in front of Piccolo and tells him that this time he can't train alone. It's not as simple as that. And so he then calls the remainder of the Z fighters, Tenshinhan, Yamcha, Chaozu, and Yajirobe, even though Yajirobe is pretty reluctant, to come to the lookout to train like in the original. Now on Snake Way, Goku, Hercule, and Krillin are busily running the 1 million kilometers or so to where King Kai is located. Unlike the anime, the 3 of them work together to ensure that they all get to the destination safely, no dropping into Hiffle or anything, or, Princess Snake, with them taking turns carrying the other 2, so that means everyone gets a chance to nap. Just imagine this visual of Hercule running with Goku and Krillin slung under his arms. I feel that is a very Toriyama-esque visual. Hercule is busy, trying to keep his breath together and thinking in his head,
Man, this is not the day I had planned. Wait until Videl gets a load of this. This will make for some cool bedtime stories.
All of this teamwork allows the gang to get to King Kai's planet with a few weeks extra in their pocket, and thanks to Hercule's idea of doing the foot Kamehameha to then propel themselves onto King Kai's planet, it's actually relatively a cakewalk, with Krillin doing this for the first time, commenting that it feels really weird. The 3 then go through their tests with King Kai, Hercule particularly endearing himself with King Kai thanks to the joke round.
You see, my jokey nature came in handy one day.
King Kai tells the group more about the origins of the Saiyans once he finds out about how they're heading to Earth, and, has actually found them specifically. Realizing that, they are pretty close, about 110 days away from Earth, in fact. Kami's powers could only go so far, but King Kai had the power to navigate all around North Galaxy and find them specifically, so this task was pretty easy. All 3 of the group mastered the Kaioken, Goku mastering the Genki Dama as well, but Hercule is struggling. King Kai having taken a liking to Hercule for his good sense of humor and all, unlike the other two, pulls him aside and asks simply, yeah, what's up? Hercule then mentions that he wants to see his past wife one more time, and that King Yemma didn't let him do that. King Kai then thinks that this should be pretty easy to solve, especially since King Kai's higher than him, especially if it'll get him to be an effective aid to Goku and Krillin.
Okay, buddy. If you put your heart into this training, I'll try to see if you get to see your wifey one more time once this whole thing's blown over. Deal?
Hercule cries a little bit, but then confidently shakes King Kai's hand.
Deal.
And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So, why am I doing this? Well, I feel that Hercule needs to build his inner fortitude some more, and we didn't get to explore his wife enough in the original story, if at all. So this might make for an interesting subplot, as well as some kind of romantic stroke emotional nuance, you know, that we can do with these April Fool what-ifs. We're not tied down as much like in the other what-ifs. Let me know if you like this or not. So what do you guys think? Will Hercule be able to step up to the plate? How are Piccolo and the other Z fighters handling their own training? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. And I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!